Alright class, today's key lesson is on how to read the spin on a serve, especially when your opponent uses an illegal serve, like hiding the contact or not tossing the ball, making it hard to judge. I'm going to teach you two methods to handle this. First, you should always try to watch the racket-on-ball contact at the moment of impact. But if you really can't see the contact, your next option is to watch the second bounce on your side of the table. Actually, if you train your reaction time to make a quick adjustment as the ball gets closer, you'll have enough time to make the right call. If the ball kicks upwards or accelerates forward after the bounce on your side, it's definitely topspin or sidespin topspin. Even if the ball's trajectory drops sharply after the bounce, you still have enough time to adjust, as long as you stay calm. Watch this. I'm not even looking at his serving motion, just the bounce. See how it kicks up? I have more than enough time to identify that as topspin. Watch again. This one dies after the bounce, so it's backspin. This shows you must learn to read the spin from the second bounce on your side of the table. If the ball kicks hard, either forward or upward after bouncing, you should treat it as a topspin serve. If you see the ball die or drop after the bounce, you can either loop it, or if you're really late, just make a simple push. You have enough time for either. This is a great fallback method, but you must make a conscious judgment. Judge at the contact point, or judge by the ball's trajectory over the net, or judge by the second bounce. You have to pick one, otherwise, your return will be a complete guess. Method 2. If the ball bounces lower on your side than it does on your opponent's side, it's definitely a backspin. Look at this serve. Many players see the high arc and mistake it for topspin, causing them to hit it into the net. But it's actually heavy backspin. So, you have to push this ball. You must learn to read the trajectory of the serve across both bounces. When he serves, if the first bounce is low and the arc over the net is high, don't even think twice. It will always have backspin. You see? This is definitely a backspin serve. It doesn't matter if it's a hook serve or another type, the physics dictate its backspin. Here's another clue. No matter how high the toss, if my forearm's angle is pointing downwards at the point of contact, with a very low racket face, then no matter how much he hides the serve, if you can see that downward forearm motion, it is guaranteed to be a backspin serve. This is an excellent method. You must watch the direction of the forearm. Even with an illegal serve where he doesn't toss the ball, look at the downward motion of the forearm. It's still a backspin serve. So, you must lock your eyes on his forearm and the ball's trajectory on the first and second bounce. If the first bounce is low, it will have backspin. How much backspin is another judgment call. Now let's analyze the characteristics of a topspin serve. First, review the backspin. The first bounce is low, and the arc over the net is high. Watch closely, it's a low to high trajectory. A topspin serve is the exact opposite. Its trajectory on the first bounce is high. Watch the ball's arc on my side of the table right after contact. Compare the trajectory of a sidespin backspin serve to a sidespin topspin serve. Backspin. Topspin. Backspin. Topspin. For a topspin serve, there must be a very distinct upward, brushing motion. This applies to standard and reverse sidespin serves as well. For backspin, the angle of impact and the trajectory are very low. For topspin, the ball kicks up because the racket path is upward. The moment the ball leaves the racket, the trajectory of its two bounces is impossible to fake. As long as the ball starts to kick upwards after bouncing on your side, it's certain to have a topspin component. Okay, I'll serve one now. Tell me, is it sidespin topspin or sidespin backspin? That's right, sidespin topspin. Excellent. Now a side spin backspin. Look at the first bounce. If the trajectory looks like this, it has to be backspin. A player can be deceptive, but the ball's trajectory tells the truth. This principle is based on objective physics, it never changes. I'll exaggerate the motion to make it clear. For this type of backspin serve, created by brushing downwards, the ball's trajectory will drop after the bounce. For a topspin serve, however, the trajectory after the bounce is upwards. Remember, these methods are your backup plan for when you can't read the contact. Always try to read the motion first, because it gives you more time to react. So, you can use the first and second bounces to distinguish between topspin and backspin. Topspin is the serve with a high arc on the first bounce. Watch. Topspin typically has a high first bounce, but then travels low over the net, following a distinct high-to-low path. The rule is very clear: if the first bounce is low and the arc over the net is high, it's almost always backspin. If the first bounce is high and the arc over the net is low, it's very often topspin. This is another method of judgment you can use when you can't read the spin at the instant of contact. If you find it difficult to judge the first bounce because it's too fast, you can focus on the ball as it crosses the net. I'm going to serve a backspin ball. I want you to identify the common characteristics. Watch the ball's trajectory right as it clears the net. These are backspin serves. I'll serve a few more so you can see the pattern. These are long backspin serves. Okay, now let's look at a topspin serve. Hook topspin. Okay, what's your conclusion from just watching the ball cross the net? Someone said ball speed, but that's incorrect. Speed can be deceptive. I can serve a fast backspin or a slow topspin to trick you. If you try to judge based on overall ball speed, you'll run out of time. Your golden window for judgment is a specific segment of the ball's path. It's in the segment from the first bounce on my side, over the net, to the bounce on your side. Backspin. Topspin. In this zone, the difference in travel speed between topspin and backspin is most pronounced. Focus on that segment from the first bounce to the second. The speed as it crosses the net is vastly different for topspin versus backspin. Backspin. Topspin. Even if my motion isn't obviously different, look at the speed over the net. Backspin. Topspin. Watch closely. I'm telling you, this method will absolutely solve your problem of misreading serves. You only need to watch this part of the trajectory, and your reads will become incredibly accurate. Of course, reading the spin at the point of contact is ideal. But if you can't, don't just follow the ball the whole way. That leaves you too little time to react at the very end, which only very high-level players can do. Let's test this method again. I'm going to use a deceptive motion. You tell me, is it sidespin topspin or sidespin backspin? With that speed over the net, it's impossible for that to be a backspin serve. With that speed and trajectory, this has to be a backspin. A topspin serve, no matter how slow, will always kick or jump forward as it crosses the net. This difference in speed compared to backspin is very clear. The ball's trajectory doesn't lie. Watch closely. Even if my motion seems to go downwards, if the ball travels fast over the net and kicks forward on the bounce, it has to be a topspin serve. Even if I serve slowly with a subtle motion, if you look closely, the speed over the net is vastly different compared to a sidespin backspin serve. The rhythm is completely different. A sidespin backspin serve feels like it floats, while a sidespin topspin shoots past you. You must use this to establish a baseline for your specific opponent, because everyone's serve speed is different. Understanding my serve is just the start. You must learn to read each opponent individually. Imagine you've played 2 games against me and have gotten used to my serving rhythm. Sidespin backspin. Sidespin topspin. Sidespin topspin. Sidespin topspin. Okay, now I'll serve one more. Let's see if you can make the right call. Is this sidespin topspin or sidespin backspin?